Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And when I say tired, I really mean tired. You guys will see when you watch the video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you do. Now let's get into it. One of my seniors gave me some great advice at the start of F1. She said that it's always better to be overcautious than it is to be relaxed and potentially miss something. She said that way that she can go home, she can enjoy her time with friends and family and just relax. And I've taken that on board and it's really helped me this year. So I'm really grateful for that advice. Thank you, Oriofe. Make friends with your F1 colleagues because they truly understand what you're going through. And if you're having a bad day, they are the people that you'll be able to turn to and actually talk through the bad day. And they're also the people that will understand the good times as well. We set up a WhatsApp group, which I found was really helpful. So we used that to ask each other questions, things like how to order specific tests for patients, those kind of things. And honestly, that WhatsApp group was invaluable through the year. The things that you will go home and cry about at the end of the shift will not be the things that you expect. And unfortunately, at the start of the year, I went home and cried a lot at the end of my shifts. Don't feel too sorry for me. I think most people end up doing that. Stay hydrated. Something that I found is that it's really easy to get dehydrated on the wards. You're basically exercising all day, you're just walking around. The wards are generally really warm places and it can be really easy to forget to drink. So make sure that you chug loads of water. And actually, I found that if I'm feeling a bit tired and groggy, a lot of the time it's just because I'm actually a bit dehydrated. So I just go and have a big drink and then maybe a little snack and I feel loads better. So stay hydrated, people. I found that people love to tell you their worst stories of their shifts, and so if you're doing a shift that you've never done before, you can feel really nervous going into it because the only information you have about what it's like to work that shift is people's worst nightmares of how it is. I would just say that try not to listen too much to people's stories because it's probably not going to be as bad as you think it is, and a lot of the time you're going to be doing really mundane things like writing discharge letters to GPs and chasing bloods. Look at this beautiful sky. So nice. So I'm at the end of a 12.5-hour shift. I've done two 12.5-hour shifts and I've got 2 more to go on the surgical emergency admissions unit. And one thing that I've really learnt this year is that the 3 most important things for outside of work for looking after my body are good sleep, good nutrition, and some decent exercise on a regular basis, even if it's just a tiny amount. So anytime I've let any of these 3 things waver, I've felt rubbish. So yeah, got to keep all of those 3 things up to feel in peak condition, even when work is really tiring. I had a period around Christmas time where I really wasn't enjoying work and I was just feeling really down in the dumps. One thing that I found really helpful was that I taught myself this new technique where anytime I thought I'm nervous about something, I would try and substitute the word nervous with excited so that I could kind of try and use that nervous energy in a positive way. The other thing that I tried to do around that time to try and sort of lift myself out of not really enjoying work so much was, instead of focusing on the things that I really wasn't enjoying about work and the stressful nature of the job itself and the winter pressures and things that were kind of maybe out of my control and feeling really stressful and horrible, instead I tried to focus on the positives, even if it was just like the smallest thing, and I actually wrote those things down. So it was things like nurses making me cups of tea, or patients and their relatives saying nice comments, or seeing patients going from being really, really unwell to actually getting to a point where they were up, walking around and leaving the hospital. And I found that by focusing on the positive, even when I was on my hardest, most horrible days, I still felt that I was doing a worthwhile job and it made me appreciate what I was doing. A technique that I found really, really helpful when I was having a really rubbish time at work, especially on days where I just felt that everything was quite overwhelming, was to try and remind myself that everything's temporary. So the dynamics on the ward always change, the turnover, the patients change, the staff change every day, and That's the beauty of working in the NHS and working on a ward, is that it is a really dynamic and fluid environment, and no 2 days are the same. So it makes it easier when you've had a bad day to be able to turn over a new leaf the next day and actually just kind of start afresh. I've found that really useful this year. So always remember that when you're having a bad day, it's only temporary. You will get through this shift and you will go home at the end of it. When I started F1, I was so excited about not having to do studying in my free time that I actually filled up all my free time with doing loads of fun things, which is amazing, but I forgot to factor in time for just resting, relaxing, and kind of getting over the stress and tiredness of the week. So definitely make sure you've got some free time in your life where you can literally just chill out, watch TV, spend time with your friends and family, and not do a lot. Good communication is definitely the key to working in a happy team, and I found that introducing myself to everyone on the ward and learning everyone's names, from the receptionists to the porters and the nurses as well as the doctors, works really well. If I need to leave the ward for any sort of reason, I'll always leave the nurses my mobile number and let them know when I'll be back as well. So that brings me to the end of this video. If you guys have watched this far, then thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content. I've got loads of playlists about being a doctor and about medical school, so you might find some other videos that you're interested in. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!